What's happening, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Moment with Most Sketty, your mental health and wellness podcast. I am your hostesses with the mostesses, your auntie, sister, cousin, best friend who's always coming with the realness, Most Sketty herself. Da-da-da. Where the clap at?
You did something.
I didn't do nothing but push the button like I'm supposed to push the button.
It was just
It was
you.
All of the other buttons was working before I came on today. So as you can see, you can clearly see, I am not here by myself today.
She's never here by herself.
This is how this gonna go today.
Yes, this is
all right. So I record here live at the TDR Tonedef Network space, and the person to the side of me who was throwing me off my game. This is my fault because I asked for this to happen.
She did.
Sitting on the side of me, helping me make my way through this podcast today is none other than Mr. Tonedef himself. Okay, give me a clap for him. Clap work that.
My buddies know who should and shouldn't work for it.
Look, I pay for my studio time.
You
I don't
do.
know about everybody else. Okay?
You do. You religiously, on time. Never have to complain about you.
We'll see about next month. Anyway, so
you're gonna work it off, so we'll be fine.
We'll be all right. So yeah, I got Tone here to let's try that again.
Nope,
I got Tone here today with me to make our way through this podcast. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time. We've already been having a good time. We actually stay having a good time, which is part of the reason why I asked Tone to be on the show with me today. So we're gonna be talking about success.
Ooh.
And my mama said send some money to Most Sketty on Cash App so that I can pay for my studio time on time. Amen in Jesus' name. All right. So before we get into talking about success today or whatever it is that we may get derailed and end up talking about, let's get into the church announcements for the week. I feel like I need a theme song for church announcements.
You know, I'm gonna get you one. Do you want it organ? Do you want it like how do you want it?
Organ. I mean, we sing a cappella at my church, so I feel like
I knew it. What are you?
So maybe no, Kojic loved them some music instruments.
That's what I'm saying. Like I come from a Kojic world, so I got a whole breakdown
of Christ. We over there singing, singing and making melody in our hearts.
Okay.
It's lit though. Like
I'm not saying it's not.
You come through sometimes.
I done did my
because you be hearing me sing around the studio, so this is
I be doing my church tours.
But anyway, we're gonna do the church announcements before we get too derailed too far.
What we announcing today?
We're announcing actually what we've been announcing. So, but it's all coming up. It's all coming up like now. So this Saturday, August 5th, is Black Arts Fest, formerly known as Afro Fest, down at the Summerfest grounds. Yes. My choir, the choir I sang with, because it actually belongs to the person who was named after Anthony Begay and Praise Motivated. I'm Praise Motivated.
Anthony's choir?
Yeah, I'm an AMPM.
Me and Anthony went to high school together.
Did you?
That is my boy.
Anthony is gonna be on my show one of these weeks. He actually was supposed to be on this week, but like he was out of town this week, and I'm supposed to be at a gig right now, so he was unavailable.
We ain't gonna tell nobody.
I mean, I think all 4 people who are watching right now know. He know. Hey, Vivian. She was actually on the show before. Anyways, no, back to AMPM. See, getting me derailed. AMPM will be at Black Arts Fest this Saturday. We'll be on the Miller stage, the main stage at 1:30. So come on out. If you've never seen AMPM before, we are a dynamic, high energy gospel choir. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to being up there sweating and giving it my all. You gonna be at Black Arts Fest?
You know what? I will.
You will.
I will.
Fantastic. You got to come out and see Anthony. He misses you.
It's not even about that. It's just I got to support my black people, period.
Support black people.
But now I got a reason to go to the main stage.
I'm rooting for everybody black.
Everybody black.
Amen.
You know that's on the t-shirt now, right?
I would imagine it was on the t-shirt pretty much as soon as it fell out of Issa's mouth.
You can pick that up from Full Circle Television.
Oh.
They sell that shirt. It is a nice shirt. If you see that around the city, that's who got it.
Full Circle Television got that t-shirt. I'm gonna have to get that t-shirt because I like that.
Hit up Kayla Lewis Allen if you want one.
Amen. Look at him. Plugging. Dropping.
Here in the Sherman Phoenix.
Hey, that's what's up.
This is what I do.
Connect.
I do.
I'm not gonna call you Mr. Tonedef. I'm gonna have to call you Mr. Connection because he know everybody and everything.
I don't know everybody, but I know enough people who know enough people.
That's everybody then. If you know enough people that know enough people, they say, 6 degrees is John, what's up? So I say hi to everybody who's on there. Who's on here? My mama
is here.
Mom always here. Mom Sketty is always in the building, first and foremost. That's my biggest fan. Shouts out to her.
Mom Sketty is what she's going to be known as from now on.
I already called her Mom Sketty. At first she said she ain't like it, but then I was like, that's your name, though.
It's there.
It's there. Like it just flows so well. Mo Sketty, Mom Sketty, like you already know what it is.
You don't pick your nickname. Your
it's given to you. It's ordained. So if it wasn't already, Mom Sketty, you already know what it is. But anyways, I'm going to be at Black Arts Fest on the stage, giving it my all, giving praises unto God. Tone going to be in the audience, rooting us on. We're going to be supporting everybody Black. I got some friends who are going to be delivering some Afro vibes around, 3 o'clock? So I'm probably going to be down there all day. There's actually quite a bit going on throughout the whole day. Not just the Miller stage, but other vendors and other stages throughout the day. So if you are in the city of Milwaukee or the surrounding areas, it'll be down on the Summerfest grounds. I believe they start at like noon until like 8 p.m. or something like that. So it's an all-day affair. So please come on out, support Black things. This is our big Black adventure for the summer. So let's do it up big. Mm-hmm. All right. And then the other church announcement is actually coming from the desk of the Central Church of Christ, where I attend. We have Vacation Bible School coming up. I know I've been announcing that the last couple of weeks, but it is coming next week, Wednesday through Friday, August 9th through the 11th, 7 p.m. each night. You know how VBS goes. You come, you get a good lesson. The babies get a good time to fellowship with one another and learn about Jesus. We give them some snacks and we send them home. At the end of that week, on August 12th, that Saturday, we are having a community cookout. We will be distributing school supplies for free. We'll have free food. We'll have games. We have a basketball tournament, 303 tournament that'll be happening that day. So if you can hoop, you're trying to earn you a little gift card or whatever it is, whatever prizes or whatever we're giving out that day, come through. It should be a fantastic time. That is Saturday, August 12th at the Central Church of Christ, which is located 1830 West Monroe. It is just south of North Avenue on 18th Street, from 11 to 3 on Saturday.
So are you trying to get me to like cancel all my Saturday plans?
I mean, that's up to you.
Because like I heard free food, so you had me there.
I mean, burgers and dogs is be where it's at.
I mean, free food will always be where it's
free at. Food, free fun.
It's for the kids too.
It's for the community. It's called a community cookout. So the kids.
All right, so you really have that community.
Yeah. It's for everybody. So come on out, support. There is still time if you would like to make a donation towards the cause, to send your donations over to Cash App them to Central COC if you would like to make a donation. If you as an individual would like to make a donation, or if your company, your organization, small business, large business would like to make if the TDR network want to make a donation, that would be nice. Would like to make a donation towards the cause, let us know. You can send it over to our Cash App. Just please make sure that in the forward that you indicate that it is for the cookout. And then all the proceeds will be going towards just making the event bigger, better, making sure that we have enough school supplies, that the bags are nice and plush, that the bounce house is nice and big, and that we have a great time.
We will have a great time.
We'll have a fantastic time.
We'll have a great time.
So with that being said, I think those are all the church announcements I'm gonna drop for the week. So we gonna get into. So you do this. I don't do this. Should I look at you or should I look at you?
Look at me right there.
Yeah, but you sitting here though, so it's like.
Okay, so this is what we'll do.
All
right, see this? I'm at an angle. That's how we gonna talk.
Okay.
That way you can still be camera ready. Which is really good. Are you good at being camera ready?
Ding.
Okay, and you can talk to me.
What's up?
Work for you?
I don't know.
Cool.
Anyway, so we'll get to it. So today we're gonna talk about success. We're gonna talk about success. We're gonna see where this conversation goes. Because we were actually kind of talking a bit about success before we got on.
Right.
Before we got on today.
Right.
Because if you are in the Milwaukee area, if you're a part of TDR, if you know anything about Tone, he's been advertising for a while the Tonedef kickback that occurred last night.
Yeah.
Which you say was a really successful event. Claps. There were food vendors and clothing vendors and people out here selling ice creams and hats and sunglasses and outfits and all types of.
Sunglasses.
They was out here playing. They had a spades tournament, I think,
Well,
going
the
on.
spade tournament ended up not happening.
Oh, but y'all had game night though.
We still had a regular game night, which was actually really successful. I think the fact that it was a lot going on in the city yesterday, that kind of derailed a few of the things. But I'm kind of glad we also didn't have the spades tournament because one, I think that would have had too much going on at one time, and I don't like too much going on.
But it was enough going
But
on.
it was enough that even the introverts could have had a good time.
Shout out to the introverts who only talk to people when it's a reason to.
And that's literally how a lot of our game nights became about.
It's giving everybody a reason to talk to each other.
Just giving introverts a safe space.
Hey, we need it because otherwise we'll be at the house like, that's doing too much. Or we'll go to the bar, stay there for 5 minutes and go home. But anywho, so you had that last night. And I one of the reasons why I continuously plug the Vacation Bible School and the church cookout that is coming up at my congregation, it is because it is a community event coming out of my church. But specifically, I am in charge of planning the community cookout this year, and so I've been putting a lot. Right, I've been putting a lot of time and effort into that, and so I'm trying my best not to stress in order to make this thing a success.
Don't. Please do not stress. That is the number one thing I learned this weekend about throwing an event. Because normally when I do things like this, it's always a small, more intimate thing that I do as either an anniversary of TDR every year, or I do it as a thank you for being a friend, traveling down that road and back again.
A friend.
And this particular time around, I said, you know what? I want to thank everybody who's gotten me here, not just only the hosts who do a show every week or every other week with me, but people who's really been like supportive in regards to guests, Sherman Phoenix as a whole, the shops here, anybody. So I had opened it up, and that's where the vendor event came into play at to begin with, because I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to be able to, show people that they're out here doing things. The pandemic turned a lot of us into entrepreneurs, but a lot of us didn't get the proper teaching of what entrepreneurship is. So you have hustlers and you have actual entrepreneurs, and you got to figure out which one you are and how to, either adjust yourself to be a better hustler or to really go all in as being an entrepreneur.
So what's the difference?
There's a huge difference. A hustler is someone who goes out and they go ahead and make money to fix the problem right here and now.
Okay.
Bills are due this week and you about $1,200 short. We're going to figure out how we can get this $1,200 and how to keep getting the $1,200 quickly. But at the end of the day, a hustler is only doing it because they have to do it. An entrepreneur wants to take themselves out of the equation of ever working for somebody else again. They want their business to be sustainable, they want it to be self-growing, and they want it to be something they can leave for the next generation. So basically meaning that if we fix this problem right here, we're still building to not ever have this problem ever again, but we're also creating new problems because we're trying to grow ourselves even more.
So the entrepreneurs have a better longevity mindset.
They have a better longevity mindset.
Hustlers are hardcore problem solvers.
Now here, don't get it twisted. Now you do need to have a hustler mentality to be a successful entrepreneur, though. But you got to know when and where to separate the two. And that's one thing I ended up having to learn this particular weekend. Delegation definitely was a big learning curve for me. Normally, I would come out my pocket for everything. I would pay for everything. I would put money aside. I would buy the food. I would hire a chef. I would pay for the event spaces and all kinds of stuff. So an event that should have just been maybe about 15, 20 people who we could have ordered pizzas and been good was a really, really more, bigger thing. So this particular weekend, I learned to be smarter, not harder. And this is where the part of success really came into play at was, one, I didn't stress over nothing. I had other people handling different responsibilities. So by hiring vendors, believe it or not, the vendors create the foot traffic for me.
Yeah.
Like I can promote all day, every day.
But if you got 10 people who are coming, who are all promoting
Right.
too.
But if I got 12 people that are coming here, and out these 12 people, you have 7 or 8 people specifically coming because they rock with you. Well, that's 7 or 8 people that the other 11 people never met before in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So now you might be coming in here to buy a t-shirt because this person makes a t-shirt that you like, but now here's someone who makes jewelry. Here's someone who sells shoes. Here's sunglasses. Here's some dope ice cream outside. Now you may have came in to pay $30 for a t-shirt and you just spent $120 and your whole evening is set.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now these 7 or 8 people start to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So for every 10 people that come in the door, for each 12 vendors, 120 people just showed up. So now you as a vendor, you have 120 opportunities to make a sale.
Not just make a sale, but like depending on what you're depending on what you're selling and what you're doing, making a connection, making a relationship, because depending on what you're selling, that if it's ice cream, like you trying to make relationships with your ice cream business, because I'm gonna need ice cream every time it's hot, maybe a couple of times.
And I'm glad you went to the ice cream one, because success doesn't always necessarily mean that you sold out that day.
Right.
He came through to sell ice cream, right? But while selling ice cream, he now had several people specifically asking for vegan options. Vegan options was never something he put into his head. But then when he noticed these 120 people, I don't know what the actual number were for everybody listening. 120 just is easy for us to talk about with.
Right.
Easy to communicate with. But out those 120 people, 25 of them want vegan options.
Yeah. I mean, and if you don't know that you even have a market that large for something like that.
You just found out that about 20% of the people that came through this door want an option you don't have. That's 20% of profit you just missed out on.
And then on top of that, like, I mean, we talking about the vegans, but you know, the lactose intolerant didn't need to be eating ice cream in the first place. So when they find out it's a vegan option,
there was some lactose intolerant people who risked it all. Yesterday.
I know we risk it all, but we don't always want to.
Think about that. You think of the non-dairy.
So when you don't
option.
have to, that's another sale that the person who did not want to risk it all, decided to come
so
around.
now the opportunity for him to get into a new market that he never thought about getting into. Now you not only do you sell ice creams that are popular amongst us, but now you have a whole different demographic of vegans. I told him you start off small, maybe not have 27 flavors of vegan ice cream, maybe these 25 here. It's like, well, you know, I don't have any vegan ice cream. Well, what kind of flavors do you like in vegan, or where do you go get your options for? What have you been told? So now you're researching, you're building your brand and you're networking, because it went from, hey, dude, you have this and you should add this, to, you know what, bro, you should look at getting a brick and mortar space. Let me introduce you to insert person with building here.
So success ain't even always what you came out to do in the first place.
It's never what you came out to do. No successful person got successful with their original idea. Everything has to evolve. Everything has to change, because the needs and demands have to change. Remember, about 5 years ago, we went to the mall for everything.
True that.
Now it's all about boutiques, markets, and pop-up shops.
And
so
malls are dead.
So how do you evolve your business to match that? Or maybe you get smart and you realize that the market is shifting and you create these necessary spaces now.
Right.
So now maybe we need to create our own market space where we can have rotating vendors who can do 3-month tours.
Yeah.
You know, like, I have this space every 3 months. I have a new person here. I work with them. I'll get you a business person, whatever that has to look like. So that whole 3 months, you have a permanent location for your business. You get proper teaching to be an entrepreneur, how to do your budget, to have a profit and loss market. And then now when that 3 months is over with, now let's get you out here and you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? That can be what success look like for some people. It doesn't always have to be how much money you bring in. Doesn't have to be.
So before we got started today, I like a definition. He reminds me of Jeffrey. She's, oh, that's Mom. Mom said that you, that's Jeffrey's my little brother.
Okay.
You do a little bit. Then I like my brother. That's like one of my favorite people.
I just said that. I just sat here and did this.
You family now.
We were family to begin with. I don't know what you're talking
Hey,
about,
as soon
man.
as I paid you that first month, y'all we became family. Mom said, "Our
Exactly.
future lesson: Are you a hustler or an entrepreneur?" Like, yeah. But what I was saying is, I like a good definition.
Okay.
And so before we started, I looked up the definition of success because that's I've been asked a number of times in my life
Mhm.
what is success,
Right.
what is the definition of success, and I feel like it's one of those questions that kind of stumps people because I think we conceptually know what it feels like, but we don't always know what we think we know what it feels like.
Right.
We don't always know what it actually feels like. We know what it feels like when we fail, but the good definition is the definitions that I
Mhm.
saw. The first one was the accomplishment of an aim or purpose.
Correct.
So basically, just making it across the finish line of whatever
Right.
it is you set out to do.
Correct.
Now, the other one that I saw, which is an unused way of using success, is because it even said archaic, was the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. So it literally was just the outcome.
But I'm glad. Let's stay with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hate that it's considered archaic
Mm-hmm.
because to me it's the most prevalent definition for success. Because success doesn't always have to mean that I reached the finish line.
Yeah.
Maybe the goal for me was just being able to go 1 mile.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go the whole 20 miles. That's a great thing to do if I could do it in the first try. But maybe the fact I made it 1 mile.
Mm.
It's not the success based on what the event is for.
It's just a
Based
simple
on the
outcome.
event, I quit. But to
Yeah.
me, I made 1 mile. So now the next time this comes around, my goal might be 5.
Right.
My goal might be 10. My goal might be 15.
It's just making it to your output.
It's just making it to my output. And sometimes that's what we need to learn as people, that the goal doesn't always have to be profitable.
Mm.
Sometimes the goal is just to be better than you were before. I'll use the game night as a prime example.
Yeah.
I see people do game nights and events and all kind of things all the time. And with the help of video and social media, sometimes those events can look massive. It can look like tons and tons of people are there.
Right. They zoomed in on 3 really good tables.
And it could have been, or it could have actually had 300 people in the building.
Yeah.
And we were elbow to elbow that day. Whatever the reason for
That sounds
that,
miserable, but continue.
we presume that that's what a successful event could look like.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I would have a game night and only my friend showed up after putting all this money into it, I would get discouraged the next day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn, I spent XYZ amount of money. It was just these guys. We could have did this at the house.
Yeah.
But then I had to remind myself that's not the reason I did it.
Their output was to gather something.
It was to gather people together in a safe space where people who would not have normally come out.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would do these events, I would get different people who was like, well, I would have just been at home doing nothing. And the fact I hear that and you decide to come, I have to make myself remind that's success.
Yeah.
Now my new goal was, how can I do this with spending less money? Okay. Now that was the goal.
Premium output.
Right. So it was like spending less money. So lucky for me, I'm part of Sherman Phoenix family.
Mm-hmm.
So Sherman Phoenix, as long as I'm respectful, follow the rules, take care of my peoples, you can use the space. Okay, that's money I saved right away.
No venue.
I had to go pay for no venue.
Success.
Cool.
We got
we got
a spot for free.
Right.
Success.
That low made it successful. You know what I'm saying? And I'm bringing people in who first phrase is, I've never been to Sherman Phoenix before.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So
success.
Now you're here. So now you're here. You see the building, and it's like, dang. Well, this store over here has this, and this store over here has it. I got to come back when they're open.
Yeah.
Foot traffic.
Right. Returning customers.
2 and 1. I'll take it.
Hey,
okay.
Success.
Now,
and none of that had the people discovering Sherman Phoenix, people wanting to come back to patronize another store has absolutely nothing to do with you hosting a successful game night.
Right. What made a successful game night?
But it does. Though.
It does. At the end of the day, the game night was, the whole day was about come see what Sherman Phoenix has to offer.
Okay. And so your output was come see what they came
Come
and
see what
saw what Sherman Phoenix
come
has said.
see what
And
Sherman.
you know what? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because I want to say that my goal in or my focus as of late with this community cookout planning was to make sure that I had a good event.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that that the food is in order, that the games are in place, like that it's fun, it's colorful. But really, like that never started out as the goal.
Right.
The goal was always just to draw people to the church,
And
and so
sometimes,
for them to experience the church, for
mm-hmm,
them to experience us as a church family, a church community, because I strongly do believe that we have a whole lot of love to give to each other and to the community. Obviously Bible teaching is paramount, it's a church,
right.
but I what draws people and what keeps people is the love of the congregation, and that
Mm-hmm.
is something that I'm really passionate about people connecting with. So that was the goal, that was the excitement of even being asked to be
Right.
over um over planning this whole thing. And along the way I lost that vision.
And that's what I was going to say. We do that once we get the responsibility. We think success is having 300 people here.
Mm-hmm.
Success is having 30 people who've never been here before.
Yeah.
Because your whole purpose is I want you to
I need
see
you to come in.
what my church has to offer.
And to be honest, like this afternoon, part of the reason I was late is because me and the young people were out canvassing the neighborhood, handing out flyers for the event to come. And we've already connected with the community. We've
Exactly.
already got a chance for them to experience us. So in essence,
You're
we've
successful.
already been successful at the
You've
event.
already succeeded.
Hey!
So when you-
Mom says she missed the second definition. The second definition was the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. So basically, just the output, the results of whatever it is that you're attempting,
you're
good or
tuned.
bad.
Now, I want to go ahead and focus on one part that they added there, which is the bad.
Mm-hmm.
We don't never look at something failing as being successful, but we have to also remind ourselves that if you get it right the first time every time, are you really growing?
You're not.
Okay, so
You're just doing stuff you're good at.
you're doing stuff you're good at. I have been doing kickbacks for at least about 7 years now. They've been private and they're intimate, and every single one I felt like I failed. I didn't
Mhm.
get the outcome I wanted, right? But every time I went back and what can I do different? Okay, I have these games, but let's cater these games to our people. Maybe if we play more black games
Okay.
or more games that we as black people would automatically get to, we'll have a little bit more fun. So I changed my trivias to be more of an urban trivia game.
Okay.
I changed my
So questions about living single instead of friends. Nice.
Exactly. Well, you'd be surprised who watch Friends.
Plenty of people.
You'd be surprised
Plenty of
who
us have watched Friends. But still, you know what I'm
But
saying.
you know what I'm saying? Like maybe if I go out and get a board game of Monopoly, I get the Wakanda version instead of the regular version. Or maybe when I go buy my playing cards for us to play spades, I have black kings and queens on them.
Yeah.
I catered the games to make it feel more like this is for us.
Mm-hmm.
I have Would You Rather, but I make it more of a hood situation. Things that we actually have to question and deal with.
Can we just record an episode of Hood Would You Rather?
We have it. When you down, we can play it.
Oh, let's go. You gonna have to grab some other people on your network, and we gonna have a round
We're
table.
gonna have a round table.
That sounds like
That's like I bring you on the Death Fresh show. We do that all the time.
I feel like my mama can't watch the episode, but it's okay.
Every episode ain't for mama. But you know,
if she show up, that's on her.
That's on her. But she gonna have a good time and a good laugh, just like we are while we playing. So we cater. I learned to cater the games more to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I learned to start bringing in new games. Let's introduce you to the same thing. It's great that you could play spades with your friends or you could play dominoes with your friends. I'm gonna make sure those are available because that's some people's comfort zone. But let's try something new. Let's play culture tag. Let's play charades where you only have the if you know, and you got to figure out what that means. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of times we use acronyms online and we're sitting here like, and then there's sometimes where it'll be a super long acronym and we know exactly what that means. What it means. that's fun when you figure those things out. It's fun trying to get those people who don't know how to figure those out.
And it's us.
And it's us. It's things we know. So I changed it up. I evolved from the bad experiences
Mhm.
that I had and I turned them into something unique. So now when you go to a TDR kickback, you're not going to play the same games that you play at your friend's house. It's going to be different.
It's gonna be different.
The vibe is going to be different.
We're gonna have a reason to come over to TDR.
It's like, oh snap! I want to know what games Tone got this time around because I bring new games every single time. I break out new things. I got aux cord battles.
So what made you? That sound fun, but what made you
do it?
Well, yeah. What made you do it in the first place? I had a question that says why be ambitious? Like why even set out to be successful at anything?
Why be ambitious?
Why
Ooh, I love that.
Be ambitious.
I'm gonna save that. That's gonna be an episode. Why be ambitious?
Why be ambitious?
Why be ambitious?
I already know why I'm ambitious. Kind of, sometimes, a little bit, some of it.
I am ambitious because I refuse to be stagnant. Okay, it is great to do everything that everybody else does, but it's so much better when you do it differently. It's so much more unique. It's so much more of who you are as a person. I am not the same Antonio that another person named Antonio is. You can clone Tyrone all you want, but you can't clone me. Okay, I'm gonna be different, and I like to look at things from a different perspective. Even when I have arguments with people, I even stop mid argument and I look at things from their perspective. So sometimes we have to look at what our people need. Okay, and when you look at what our people need, sometimes somebody has to be the one to give it to them. Okay, everybody can't go out here and be outside and feel safe. So we got to create that space. I tell you that every time here in TDR is a safe space, right?
Yeah.
So I got to prove it to you.
True.
I can't tell you that we're a safe space and then you come here and the minute you say something is used against you. No, I got to make sure to prove it's a safe space. But I got to show it publicly as well that TDR is a safe space.
Okay.
So I'll give you events and avenues and game nights and book bag drives and double Dutch contests and stuff like that because I want you to feel like, well, if the word TDR or Tonedef radio is on it, I can bring the kids. There was a kid at the game night. We had a kid at the game night. The parents wanted to get out the house.
And they brought the kid.
And they couldn't find a babysitter. They brought the kids. I don't recommend that for most of our events. I definitely try to slap an 18 and older on there for those ones I don't recommend. But sometimes that's what you got to do. You let me know. Say, hey, man, I ain't got a babysitter. Bring the kid. I have something to set aside. Keep the kids at a time. Hey. Let you know the music is kind of...
it's not going to be kid-friendly?
It's not going to be kid-friendly. And bring your own sippy cup. But... yeah. Other than that, kid, come right on in.
Then you make it a success as you can.
You still make it successful for them. And they came out, they had a good time. Dad got up there and did the MC Hammer dance. I was not expecting that. Did not have my camera ready for it. And mom and dad and the kid went home and they enjoyed themselves.
You know what? You said you wasn't expecting that. And that just made me think about just in the vein of not stressing about the success of a thing. There's going to be a million things that go wrong and not the way that you want them to go. But then there's going to be some random stuff that will go just right that you could have never planned for. Like there's just some successes in an event that you would have never been able to. If you tried to set it up, it wouldn't have went well. If you tried to get that, if you would have said, let's do an MC Hammer dance competition, it could have worked.
It may have.
It may not have.
I'm glad you said I used to stress all the time. So the fact that this one, because I delegated a lot of stuff out, it took a lot of stress off of me. And it let me sit back and look at it, enjoy my flowers while they were growing. The space tournament was the big thing that I had planned. Even though it was a last minute thing, it was definitely something that I put out there for the world. And a lot of people say, yeah, man, I'm down to do it. I want to come through. Oh, no, I even had a few people that came in specifically for that, who then eventually stuck around and, played the other games and whatnot. Cause they was like, well, I'm here and it looked like a good time. I'm going to have, I didn't expect that to fail.
I'd be so scared of putting something out. And then it's like,
and you can't
flop.
You can't.
Or don't happen.
And that used to be the biggest fear of flying for me. The biggest fear of flying for me was putting something out there and it failed. But you have to change your mind state of what does failure look like? Did you want the 300 people, or are you going to enjoy these 30 that came and you made their night?
I get afraid of putting it out there and not being able to make a thing happen and then having to answer for that.
And you know what?
And that having an answer for that, or the idea of having to answer for that, is like.
And you know what I learned?
It turns my stomach.
And I get that. And we have fears of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
We have fears of accountability, and that's what that is. That is the fear of being accountable for whatever happened. If it went great, we are glad to jump out there and take credibility for the success of it.
For sure.
Okay, we are glad. Like, yes, I created that. That's
especially
me.
if I put a lot of effort into it.
But those times when it don't fail, you got to learn how to be accountable for the failures too. If the event yesterday did not go the way I planned on it going, I would have gladly say, you know what, my event didn't do good yesterday. I got to take it back to the drawing board. I got to tweak some things. There was some good, there was some bad. I'm gonna make it happen. My vendor's event, I had bad. I had some bad moments at the event, but all I said was, these people had a great experience. These people had an okay experience. Mm-hmm. These folks had a bad experience. What can I do to keep the good experiences going? What can I do to improve the okay experiences? And let me figure out, do I need to remove the bad experience or maybe readjust them? Take accountability for the success and the failures, and people be like, I'll give you another chance.
Okay. Because it feels like the failure of a thing is a indictment on the character of the person and not the event itself.
Right.
As the event planner, especially if you're putting forth a whole lot. Honestly, I can't even say just because you're putting forth a whole lot of effort. Sometimes it feels like an indictment on your character when you haven't been able to put forth, or you didn't put forth the effort and the energy. I feel like then
own that. Then own that. Go out there and they'll be like, oh man, we went to the TDR event and it sucked, man. They didn't have this together, they had nothing together. It's like, you know what? I want to apologize for those who came out to support me. I wasn't in the right headspace, but I did not want to not do the event. Now I look back on it, I should have postponed it. I should have canceled it because I didn't give it 100%. And that was not fair to y'all. Yeah. So this is what I'll do. And then make an adjustment to accommodate those particular people. If it was an event that you normally have people pay for, those particular people that showed up, you get free into the next one. Allow them to feel like you cared, and make sure to let them know, like, look, this is what a 100% version of me looks like. If you still say it suck after that, I get it.
Oh my gosh, telling me that the 100% version of me sucks, that I want to leave now.
Not everybody's gonna love the 100% version of you.
Yeah, that's true.
It has nothing to do with you at all.
I say that, but I know that I don't care. My anxiety cares tremendously. I don't
care. People who say they don't care really do care. They just don't want you to know that it bothers them.
It's
because you want to know why? If you really didn't care, you would never give it the energy.
True. Well, I say I don't care because there's a piece of me I feel like always has to not care. Because there will be a population of people who will never be satisfied.
Exactly.
Or they were never going to like what I put together, no matter how perfect it was. It wasn't going to be their cup of tea or their necessarily individual. So they were never going to enjoy it because they don't enjoy life. So there is a genuine piece of me that do not care. And I forget that she exists though, because the rest of me be trying to care so much that like hey, you don't actually care about that forgets to show up.
And I tell people, whenever you're doing an event or you're planning anything, sometimes you have to stop and just not do anything. You have to allow your mental to actually have a conversation with itself so you can finalize things. Throughout this whole entire event that's planned, you could periodically see me sitting in the other studio over there playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I do that is because playing the game helps me completely forget everything that I'm supposed to be responsible for. I don't care about work. I don't care about the kids. I don't care about the life. I don't care about recording. I don't care about none of this. For this brief moment, it's focusing on me. And while I've been there, my cells start to have a conversation. It's like, hey, bro, did you make sure you took care of this right here? It's like, man, I don't know if I want to order this. Well, my normal caterer, she gonna be out of town, and I think she mad at me right now anyway. So I gotta figure out something with these food. Like, man, don't even worry about the food. The food, we'll get the food when we get the food, bro. And you know what ended up happening? Driving on my way to my mom's house, I rolled past the food truck. Myself was like, hey, bro, get the number on that food truck.
Mm.
Then when I got the number on that food truck, I was like, okay, I got the number for this food truck. I'm gonna reach out to them, but hold on. What is this? Let me find out more about this food truck. So I make a post online. Hey, who got a food truck? Whoosh. 50 food trucks popped up on my thing. Like, oh,
Yeah.
snap.
I got food trucks.
I got the food option came into place. I didn't have to do nothing. So I didn't have to worry about the people complaining about, well, I don't like this food. Or why do we have this? Or dang, Tom, why does chicken like this? Or why is like that? I didn't have to worry about the dry chicken complaint, which I've never had the dry chicken complaint. But if you've ever been to a catered event by a business, they got the dry chicken. I didn't have to worry about
notoriously dry.
I don't have to worry about the dry chicken because why? I'm not the one making your chicken. You chose to walk up to that truck. You had a whole list of food you could choose from,
and you went
chose
for the dry chicken.
So that's not on me. I'm not stressed. That's what I don't have to worry about that. What about music? Who you gonna get as a DJ? I don't have to worry about the DJ cost. You want to know why? I pay $9.99 to Spotify. I have so much audio equipment down here. Take a couple of things upstairs, plug up a speaker, turn on my Spotify, rock out.
Party.
Rock out. I don't need
keeping
a DJ.
It simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And that is a thing that I have learned through this adventure. Sometimes success don't have to be complicated. Like sometimes something is completely perfectly successful and fun and fine by keeping it basic.
So basic. Simplicity goes a long way. When I first initially started the visual side of TDR, I used to have so much stuff going on the screen. I used to have people's social medias all over the screen. I used to have different cool things. I used to have logos all over the place. I used to make it be that the comments would show up on the screen simultaneously as the video itself was going on. It was a lot going on the screen. And I'm thinking, I'm giving you an experience that nobody else has. But then over time, I start taking stuff away and removing things. And next thing you know, it's just having the name of the show. And in her case, a photo of this beautiful young lady. Now people can automatically recognize whose show it is. Whether you go on my page right now and you click it, it's like, oh, Mo's on, cool.
Yeah.
That's all they needed to know.
True.
They didn't need all the extra stuff because they already know the social medias, because guess where you're at when you're watching it?
You're on social.
You're already on the social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to put all the information on the screen because I want you to click on the video and listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And then I started incorporating that into when I do stuff. The vendors event was very simple.
So do you think like we sometimes feel like success isn't earned if it comes too simple? Like if it's just that simple?
Yes.
Like I didn't work for it because it was too simple.
Us as Black people feel like if there's no struggle behind it, it's not real.
Yeah. Because that's been the narrative.
If there's no struggle behind it, it's not real because we got everything handed to us. Do you know how many times we have looked down on other people because we called them entitled, or
always
you've had everything handed to you?
Silver spoon in your mouth.
Why is that a bad thing? That is the result of two parents, whether they did it together or separately, that made sure that this person didn't have to do what they did. So now the silver spoon child can make sure that the next group below them, their kids or their nieces
get a gold
nephews,
spoon.
get a platinum spoon. They want to make sure that nobody, that's what generational wealth really looks like, which is generational success.
Right. I don't understand people who don't desire for their children to stand on their successes?
Because they feel like when during that adolescent phase, because they didn't have to work for that money, they don't appreciate that money. If I went out right now and won the lottery,
Mm-hmm.
there's a higher possibility that I will burn through that money than if I earned $1 million.
Absolutely.
And that's what a lot of parents who worked for their success feels like when it's time to hand the success over to the
They
child.
feel robbed because you ain't have to work.
You didn't have to work for it. You feel entitled. You don't care. But the problem is these same parents don't stop and teach the process to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you teach them how we got here,
instill the value system,
and then value it, and then your level of responsibility. My daughters come here to the studio with me at least once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I just used to love to let them sit and play on the mics. I was like, okay, I got to do some sound checking anyway. Y'all go ahead and talk and play on the mics. But then it turned into, now remember, I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It turned into, let me show you how the camera works, baby. Okay, you see this one right here?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure when you're talking about this, look in this camera. But when you and your sister's on the phone, look at this camera. Learning how the cameras work. Now it's like, well, because daddy has this slider turned down right here, that's why you can't hear yourself. Make sure this slider is up here. Or you know how you sound really, really high and you don't want to sound really, really high? Adjust this knob right here.
Mm-hmm.
During the process of them just learning to play with everything, they're technically learning the business.
Yeah.
Now it's to the point where my oldest has already have it in her plan. Well, I'm gonna go work a job, but honestly, I'm gonna end up taking over the business for daddy. She's already has it in her head.
Dope.
My youngest is like, you could be in front of the camera. I'm gonna be behind the camera.
Dope.
They've already planned where their roles are gonna be. So as I grow this business and grow this brand, hey, when I got to go do an event, I'm taking the youngest with me.
Teach them.
So she can see what behind the scenes look like.
Train up a child in
right.
the way
so
they
she can see what behind the scenes look like. That way, when she gets to that age, you sure you still want to be behind the scenes? Mm-hmm. It's like, I think I want to be in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Or, daddy, I know you got this business, but I think I want to go do this here. Okay, you can go do this here, but here's just what I need you to do. I need you to add a couple of business management classes to your courses as well, too.
Yeah.
Because daddy can only do so much for so long. So you may need to step in and help daddy's mental as it starts to fade away a little bit. So it's like, okay, daddy, I'm going to add these to my courses. I'm already going to make you take business courses anyway, because we as Black people got to learn money management. Now, you can't be successful if you don't know how to manage your money.
Lord.
That's the biggest thing we got to talk about here. Not today, but just in general.
In general. I'm like, I don't know. We got time today. We're going to be on here for another hour talking about that one.
Right. We about to get close. I talked enough already. We already 48 minutes in.
You're all right. That's good. We roll. You got another show. You got to go.
It's at 5, but we good. We good. But, and then with my oldest, she's so outgoing. She's me. Mm-hmm. Like, when I come into a room, if I'm not having a bad day, nobody's going to have a bad day. Okay? We gonna all have fun. Mm-hmm. Every time me and you get together, we
be in here chit-chat.
We be having fun.
Chopping it up, having a great time.
Sometimes y'all late because we talking.
I don't be late on my show.
Sometimes we be
When
late.
do I be late on my show? This is the first time I've been late on my show since being here. And it's because I was out doing the Lord's work, canvassing, making sure that I have a successful event.
No, we was late because I was trying to recover from yesterday.
I was trying to have you save face, but if you want to tell the truth, then tell the truth.
Accountability. Didn't we just talk about that?
I was trying to take accountability for my part.
Accountability of the failures of us starting 30 minutes late.
You know what?
See what I'm saying? I took account. It was my fault.
And then I asked you to be on my show at the very last minute.
Exactly.
So we had to set that up.
We had to set that up. Accountability.
But anywho.
But back to the questions here, because my babies, they good.
Yeah.
We're gonna be successful in the long run.
So what is the difference between the fear of failure and the fear of success?
Ooh.
Because I know because we were talking about that a little bit before. They're completely different things.
Okay. Give me your definition of the fear of failure.
Fear of why are they different things? See, I gotta unpack it.
Break.
I just did say it was.
I got no. It is a difference.
Fear of failure.
And I'll tell you what the fear of success looks like.
I heard your definition earlier and I liked it, so keep going on that. But fear of failure the concern that it ain't gonna come out right.
Okay.
It's the concern that you're not good enough. I think it's a sounds like a self esteem issue, kind of. Um, it can arrest you from even trying
Okay.
in the first place.
Okay.
Um, or it can be the driving force that makes you unhealthily grind.
Okay.
Um, it's the fear of, depending on what you're concerned about failing right, it could be the fear of not being able to eat.
Okay.
Um, it could be the fear of embarrassment.
Okay.
It could be the fear of disappointment.
Okay.
Um, just really the concern that if you don't go hard, it's all gonna fall apart.
Okay. So the reason why I want you to do that because I needed to waste some time while I found the post I made yet a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Okay. For those who do follow Tonedef, you may have seen me post this. If you don't, it's more of a reason to follow me. I'm gonna read the post verbatim.
Okay.
All right. Can I be transparent with you for a minute?
Go ahead.
I'm currently dealing with a common but most often overlooked issue: the fear of success. While many people understand the fear of failure, very few recognize the fear of success, which can be just as crippling. Okay. The fear of success is the fear of the unknown and the possibilities of new responsibilities and challenges that success may bring. It's also rooted in the fear of losing what you already have and the possibility of being judged by others. Okay. Often enough, while experiencing the fear of success, I found myself self sabotaging and avoiding taking risks that could potentially lead to success,
He over here talking about me, y'all.
which often and unconsciously
I'm
leads
telling
to
my mama she watching.
which often and unconsciously leads to creating obstacles that prevent you from achieving your goals. So even though we are doing stuff, we're finding reasons to not keep doing it because we really are scared. It is important to recognize the fear of success and working towards overcoming. Talking to someone you trust professionally, and more importantly, reframe your mindset towards what success looks like. Okay. Remember that success comes with growth and new opportunities, and that's always okay to take risks and step outside your comfort zone. Okay. This is why when you read number 2 for success, I honed in on that one because the fact that there are bad and good outcomes and we don't want to acknowledge whenever something is bad, we tend to self-sabotage ourselves a lot. So even though the fear of failure is major, and a lot of us are now starting to realize it's naturally going to happen, we need to acknowledge that being successful sometimes can be scary as hell. There's a lot of people who are destined for greatness that we was like, bro, how'd you end up here? Like you 4.0 GPA,
so much
you
potential,
had all these potentials, and here you are, you chose to just stay here and work at the Piggly Wiggly. And it's like, because they're scared of handling the responsibilities of success. You know what I'm saying?
Because I think it, especially as a person with like all that potential or whatever. Yeah, I've had my successes in life. Like, I know that if I really try hard at stuff, I ain't gonna just fail. And also with my relationship with what failure even means is, you talk about you too, Mom. What failure even means, like if you learn how to find the growth opportunities through your failure experiences, then you kind of start to eradicate some of that fear of failure, because at the end of a failure, you already know that there's something to learn. Like you can alchemize that energy. I think that's an easier concept to accept, because we don't fail at something. Like everybody done fell off their bike.
Right.
But it's easier to learn to ride a bike and get over falling off your bike than it is to attempt a marathon on that same bike.
Okay, let's stick with the bike. You have the fear of failure of getting on that bike and that fear of falling over and skinning your knee, right? But then there's the fear of learning how to ride your bike, and now it's time for you to go down the hill. That speed that you're not used to controlling, that possibly now going dirt bike, where you're going to now ride into an area where you don't know what's on the ground, and it can make a big difference. That fear of riding for a mile and you get a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things are levels of success because you've gone way beyond what riding from the alley and back as a little kid to now you can travel countrysides.
But that's all that unknown that you was talking about.
All that unknown. So a lot of us.
But it feels like a failure once you get out into the unknown and it falls apart. There's a Bible story. We walking on water and we start to sink. And everybody is like, bro, what you get out the boat for? And I'm like, bro, you got out the boat to walk on water?
But taking consideration, when he first walked on water, he trusted the man who told him to it.
Right.
And it wasn't until he lost trust to that person that he fell in the water.
But he stepped out on the water in the first place.
But he stepped out on what?
And that's wild. Stepped out on faith.
And what is the thing that most of us say when it's time to pull the trigger to be an entrepreneur?
Got to have faith.
And that's what happens when you don't fail. I mean, when you don't succeed, you lost the faith of it.
So if I got faith, what am I afraid of?
You're afraid of being the greatness that's already destined for you to be. You're afraid of the trials and tribulations that you have to go through. You're afraid that you may not be as strong as the Lord told you that you are.
Lord Jesus.
That is what it is.
But I ain't even supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to put my faith and my strength in the Lord.
The Lord is only going to carry you so far.
He going to carry me all the way. What you mean?
Taking consideration, when he's walking down that sand, there was 2 footprints and then there was one.
Uh-huh.
So there was a point in time where he was walking with you. He wasn't carrying you.
That's how that story goes, though, is that when we saw the one set of footprints he was carrying.
He was carrying us. We thought he left us. He didn't leave us. He was carrying you. He ain't going to carry you all the time. You got to do some of the work yourself.
Got walk.
Just like I told everybody at the kickback, I'll provide everything else, but you got to buy your own food.
I'll be there, but you got to walk a little bit.
You got to walk a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and wrap it
it's
up.
some like, I feel like it's like streaks in my sand though, because Lord be like, I'll take your hand and drag you along this sand. Fine, if that's how we gotta go.
I ain't attacking you, mama.
Leave me alone.
We just on the same page.
Look, it is what it is. You know, I mean, there's a million reasons to be afraid, but there's also there's one reason to be. Hello, that's my soprano sister. I hope everything is going well down in where Joliet. Where AMPM, AMPM is singing in Joliet this afternoon. So I hope everything is well. But yeah, but there's really one reason to pursue forward, and that's just the faith that something gonna shake, even if it's not exactly what you anticipated.
Right.
That you won't be a failure, because we know what to do with failure. We know to alchemize failure into knowledge. And we know how to use successes and failures as a learning grounds for everything that we have coming next.
I like what Mama said, and I like how she said it.
Do the possible and he'll do the impossible.
Boom.
Amen.
And I think that's I hate to say this because I'm a person who tries to do everything on my own, but some of my most successful friends and the ones I lean on the most with my business journey are the ones that are deeply rooted in their spiritual and religious beliefs. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I have to go to them to remind me of just that.
Do the possible and he'll do the impossible.
Do what you can. The rest is going to either work its way out or remove itself out. It's going to be one or the other.
It really will.
Yeah.
It really will. It just, I think, it's important that we constantly remind ourselves of that. That's why I go to church every week. Like, I know a lot of people have their feelings about the assembly.
Right.
But I go every week to get fortified, because I need that reminder while I'm working that, hey, you got faith. Hey, you got a God with you. You got a higher power working on your behalf. And the only reason why you're doing what you're doing in the first place is because that's part of your purpose. That's part of your path. And that you're supposed to be doing that. If not, you'd be sidetracked there would be many roadblocks in the way to tell you that you're not supposed to be doing that. And so I need that constant reminder, because when you get into the thick of things, like, it's very easy, you know, while trying to figure out what food you're gonna have,
right?
Or trying to figure out like how many people what games I'm gonna have for this event. Like, it's easy to lose sight of like I said in the first place, my whole point of even organizing the community cookout is to draw the people to the church.
Right.
Your whole point of the kickback was to draw the people to Sherman Phoenix. We're all just trying to draw people into places where they can feel safe
Exactly.
and find community and find love. And when you're in the thick of things, you forget. But having that community that's there to constantly remind you and hold you up and keep you in place will help you make sure that you continuously build your success.
Exactly. And that is why I feel like last night, well, the whole day period was the most successful, because I had people constantly reminding me, bro, if you didn't do this, this crowd wouldn't look like this. If you didn't do this, this person wouldn't have met that. If you didn't do this, I wouldn't have had this sweet potato muffin. If you didn't do this, it was so many different things that if you didn't, and it was like, that's my validation. I can care less that I spent whatever amount I spent on it. At the end of the day, that validation, those connections, that networking, that sense of safe space, success.
Happened.
Success.
Hey, look, village work. That's what I'm talking about.
But
better me, better we. You get past yourself and press forward with the things that you're supposed to be taking care of. And there are countless numbers of people who you could touch and impact their lives. I've had people who I've had small interactions with, and it's had crazy ripple effects in my life. And, you know, that's what I set out to do too, with the work that I do here on this podcast, with the work that I do in my professional life, with the work that I do out in the community. Even on my day to day, we're just encouraging people as I go along the way, is doing the small things and not being afraid about being successful about them. Not even, sometimes you got to step back and not even care about what the overall success about it is going to be, because you're planting seeds and starting things that could yield just a greater, bigger, stronger outcome. Dang, that's good.
That's great.
That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. Is we finna wrap it up?
We finna wrap it up.
Let's wrap this up. All right. Pray with me.
Go ahead.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this opportunity, this conversation in this space. I ask that you be with us. Keep our minds stayed on faith, stayed on you, stayed on success, stayed on prosperity, stayed on drawing people to one another so that we can have bigger, stronger, better villages. I ask that you be with me, be with Tone, be with the Tonedef Network, and everybody who is affiliated, that we may all see the successes and the growth and the changes in our own individual avenues, and that we use it to build each other up and build up the collective and build up the kingdom. In Jesus' name, thank God. Amen. All right. This has been a little bit of a different moment with Moschetti, but I absolutely appreciate 100% my producer and today my podcast partner, Mr. Tonedef, for sitting with me today on the network. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate those of you who watch this week and every week. And of course, if you want to give me a little financial appreciation for my time here today, go ahead and hit the Cash App, #, Moschetti. Don't worry about paying Tone, okay? You pay me, I can pay my studio fees. He get paid.
I mean, if you want to send me money, I'm not gonna say no either.
If you want to send him money, you're not gonna say no. But no, but seriously, I appreciate you guys spending a moment with me. And I'll see you next week. Go ahead, Tone, take me out.